great job with the missing middle
Thanks,
competition.
yeah.
I'm really glad that I got to hear you on your soapbox on the side of the road and we got to connect after that. So maybe we'll just switch gears now into, because you've written a lot of interesting articles that I was reading, and one really stuck out to me because it was talking about an iconic piece of building in Vancouver and how just something totally unexpected. So Science World, which has been around since the days of Expo, when a lot of Vancouver that we see today kind of came into being.
Yeah.
And why don't you share this big surprise?
Yeah. So most people don't know that the big ball on the top of Science World was meant to be a screen. It was meant to be a spherical, not quite spherical, a geodesic screen, and it was going to be provided by the company behind Jumbotron for free.
So when you say geodesic, we're like in layman's terms, we were going to have a TV on the outside of the dome.
Yeah. So Bruno told me in an interview that he wanted it to be geodesic, so that it would have like a pattern of triangles that were inspired by Buckminster Fuller, who kind of launched the geodesic dome as this modernist ideal of efficiency, being that like the dome is the most efficient structure that you can build. And so he was always trying to build out of domes, and he would like proposition architects like Norman Foster and say, "How heavy is your building, Mr. Foster?" Kind of chiding him about how wasteful architects in our contemporary practice can be. So Bruno was inspired by Bucky, as we call him in the industry.
I like it.
And he wanted a buckyball, and he didn't want just any buckyball. He wanted it to have a screen. It was going to be a theater on the inside, and he thought maybe it would be nice as a public gesture for the screen to be duplicated on the exterior as an outdoor rated screen. The Jumbotron company wanted to launch this product as a prototype. They were willing to build it for free at the Expo to showcase their product, and that we would also benefit from having it. It's unclear to me what happened that finally killed it, but it sounds like cost and time were big factors.
Right.
But I don't know the history behind it. I do know that the geodesic pattern that is there today is basically a steel structure, and I bet you that it could still get installed.
And we had a second chance at it, but from what I read in the article, Bruno was in hospital and couldn't be reached, and then it was just too late.
Yeah,
it's a shame.
I still don't think it's too late. I think it's, for good ideas, it's never too late. And what I like about it is that it's a potential. It has potential value for all sorts of things. Hopefully not advertising, but
dangerous
for artists to install something unique, that other cities don't necessarily have, and to see, and this is a kind of question architects love to ask. But what could it be? What if we had it? What would people do with it? How would people use it? How would people live with it if it was an element in the city?
I see it as the Stanley Park Outdoor Theater. Just now we don't have to set up all this stuff because we're gonna, with the new Fall Street Flats, kind of perfectly positioned.
You can kind of see the embryo of what it could have been in the fact that they changed the lighting. It used to be just these simple white
lights.
Like high intensity discharge lights, and now they're LEDs and they're programmable. So now they can do like rainbows, and like they turned it into a pumpkin on Halloween.
That's right.
But they're still only like pixelated dots, right? There's still maybe only 100 or 300 dots on the whole sphere.
Yeah.
Whereas if it was a screen, obviously it would be high res and you could do all sorts of things.
Amazing.
So yeah, there's like little ideas. I love things like that. I used to write more frequently about those things. I haven't come across any recently, but well, I do have one actually. I'll tell you about it. Yeah. Okay. So I'll give you one more example. You may or may not know that the railway station at Waterfront used to go underground to Yaletown Roundhouse, and that the tunnel that got you from Waterfront Station to Yaletown Roundhouse is now the SkyTrain tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
And most of it is a SkyTrain tunnel, but there's a part of it that takes a right turn, and I believe it goes under the corner of Larwell Park and then goes into the Costco. And so the part that was under the Costco was demolished, right? And doesn't exist. But there's a small section under Larwell Park that might still exist. And it's a long-term goal of mine to inspire someone to dig down and reconstitute that part of the tunnel as some sort of party space.
So we're kind of like the catacombs in France where you're partying.
Why can't we have one?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
okay.
We have one, it's got some history.
Yeah.
So I like little ideas like that, like giving, just like, there are places in the city, even a city as young as ours, that are embedded with history and meaning and stories. I'm not just talking about since the founding of the city, but in the 10,000 plus years of human habitation, there's all sorts of fantastic stories that add existential meaning to your day-to-day life, which it's hard to quantify, it's hard to explain to a developer the value of a story. But sometimes when you're in the industry and you're working, sometimes you see it, when you see it.
Yeah. And even if you can get the developer to see it, can you get the bank to see
right.
it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a big team that delivers every project. So you have to be able to inspire people. And you have to be able to have the authority to, or not the authority is going to be the wrong term, but the expertise to be able to explain how it could be done.
The vision, charisma,
at the right cost. So that's why the expertise is important too. You can't just be saying it could be done. You have to know, and you have to be able to demonstrate.
You gotta sell it.
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta sell it.
You have to be able to appreciate that in the real estate business.
Yeah.
You gotta sell it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The views are easy to sell, but can you sell a tunnel under a
That's
park?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking for all the people who kind of don't want to hear a lot of, for example, some of the city councilors are trying to say, let's have the night economy. Let's make it more. Let's get some of that going. And then a lot of other pushback says, I want my peace and quiet at night. And there's a good solution. Let's just put it underground, and then everyone in the towers doesn't have to hear it.
Yeah. Well, Vancouver's got an unfortunate moniker. You may have heard Vancouver referred to as No Fun City.
You know what? We had a thing in Yaletown a couple of weeks ago, and someone thought it was a great idea, Yaletown Business Association, to put a concert stage in the middle of the three towers that I'm a part of living in, and they're concrete, so it just goes straight up into the towers for 2 days. I wasn't thrilled, and I felt like one of those No Fun City people, but
yeah.
All that being said, I like this idea of putting it underground. This is good.
Well, Vancouver has some decisions. They've made some decisions that I don't necessarily agree with, like the fact that nearly all the nightclubs are on Granville Street. And they all let out at the same time. They all close basically at the same time, and it's like a bomb that goes off when they all come out.
That's true.
There was a girl that died recently, who was back in an unfortunate incident. And so that I wonder if things like that could have been prevented. The other thing too is that you could, basically what that means is anyone that wants to experience that kind of lifestyle has to go to that one street. They have to leave their own suburb or wherever they are and commute all the way to downtown, and then they have to turn around and leave before their last bus, or pay the ultimate price. As someone who grew up in Deep Cove, I'm sure you can appreciate what happens if you miss the 12:50 from Burrard Station.
Yep.
Yeah. But
fighting for a taxi that's going to cost you a fortune.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, so now that you're a little more, because when you started your writing, you were a little more new in the architecture community. It was and now you're further down the line. Before we came on the recording here, you mentioned some project you're working out. Was it Coquitlam or Port Coquitlam? Coquitlam. Is that something you want to talk about at all? Are you allowed to talk about it?
I don't know if I'm really allowed to talk about it because it's so early. We don't even have. It's the kind of thing where once there's a council report, then and it's public knowledge, then I can speak to it.
I'll just edit
but
this.
I can. No, it's okay. I mean, there's so many projects in Coquitlam. It could be anything.
That's true.
But I will say, and I think this may be where you were going with this. You can correct me if I'm wrong. That